are live on YouTube now and setting everything up so we can get live on Facebook next. Great. Yes, okay, so let's get started with our Mad Lib stories. Anybody know what a Mad Lib story is? Have you guys done a Mad Lib story before? No? They're also sometimes called, what's the other term they use instead of Mad Lib? Fill in the blank stories. So basically they're stories where you will fill in the missing parts of the story. You think so? Yeah. So for example, oftentimes they'll have something like name went to adjective forest, something like that. And you would have to fill in the name and maybe the adjectives or anything from the verbs to even the place. So we're going to do something like that. And we're going to make it kind of like a game. So we're just going to play one I've made already, and then we'll remix this story and we'll add to it. How does that sound? So here is a somewhat scary story. I will also put this in the link of it in the description in the chat, and you guys can take a look at that later. But basically, let's get started. So this is a very simple Mad Lib story. Let's go to the next page. And it says, before we begin our tale, please tell me a bit about yourself. Okay, so what name do we put? What's a good name? Give me a name. Yeah? Aditi? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Give me a name. Rose as a name. So your name is Rose. What's your favorite animal? Okay. Betta fishes. That's very specific. Okay, betta fishes. Betta fish. Okay. Can we have another name? Someone else. Give me another name. What's your Sam? We want the name Sam. S-A-M. Okay. So we have Rose, betta fish, and Sam. So let's go to the next page. Oh dear, Rose is such a lovely name. I recently got a new pet. What do you think? Okay, so we now need 3 adjectives that describe her pet. And in our case, her pet is this weird thing. Okay, so we have blue as an adjective. Okay, so it's blue, green, and yellow. Okay, blue. Do we have another adjective? Someone else. Someone else has an adjective. Scary. Scary is a good adjective. And we need one last adjective. Hello. Slimy. Okay, slimy. Is that even how you spell slimy? I think so. Okay. So we have slimy. And I'm going to go to the next page now and see what happens. So our witch is now saying, now let's get comfortable. What would you like to eat? So let's choose a snack. Who wants to help me choose a snack? You can write it in the description as well, or you can unmute yourself. Okay. Okay, we have 1 vote for cookie, 2 votes for cookie. I guess we all like cookies. We're cookie people. We're not apple. We're not apple people? Okay. You want apple? We have 1 apple, 1 cookie. Okay. 1 cookie, 1 apple, 1 donut. Anybody else want to vote? People on Facebook want to vote. You can vote in the chat. Anybody else? Okay. They just write it in the chat. That's how people vote on Facebook. I ask them a question, most people ignore me, and then we move on. So let's go with cookie. I think we have a tiebreaker. Cookie. Okay, so now here's our story. One day there was a creature who lived in an abandoned lab. This creature was called Sam. That's right, just like your friend. Sam was a blue sort of thing who liked to pretend to be a scary betta fish. Every day, Sam would eat a slimy cookie before going to dwell in the hidden areas of the abandoned lab. Okay, so how do you think we made this story? Yeah, so we had a text box and we had to input something. And then how else? Tell me about what you think about this story. How do we create this? Yeah, so Sam is the name. Yes, Aditi? Okay, that's a great answer. So basically, we had these questions at the beginning of the story, and the reader, us, had to answer these questions, and then our answers were used inside of the story that was created. So Sam was, what was it, your best friend's name? Blue was an adjective. Scary was an adjective. Betta fish was your favorite animal. And cookie was what we chose to eat. Remember, there was apple, cookie, and candy, and a donut, right? So let's try this again, and we'll do it one more time. Okay, so give me a name. What's a name? How do you spell that? Aba. Okay, Aba. Aba's a good name. Okay, so give me an animal. What's a good animal? Cheetah? Cheetah? Okay. What's another name? Write it in the chat. I can't hear you guys. Write it in the chat. What name should I put in? Write it in the chat. Okay. I-E-D. How do you even pronounce that? Ed? Okay, so we have Abba, Bell. Okay, so we have Bell. Okay, so we need 3 adjectives. Put down some adjectives in the chat, or first 3 adjectives I see in the chat. I'm going to put it in. So type in the chat your 3 adjectives. What are they? We used green last time. No? Oh, no, we used blue last time. All right, green. What else? Something different. It doesn't have to be about this creature. It could just be any adjective that you want. Happy. Tiny. Okay, let's click next. Okay, what? It kind of looks like an apple bit in two. Okay, so what snack are we getting? An apple this time? Apples are healthy. Those are very healthy snacks, apples. An apple a day is really good. Okay, so one day there was a creature who lived in an abandoned lab. This creature was called Belle. That's right, just like your friend. Belle was a green sort of thing who liked to pretend to be a happy cheetah. How do you be a happy cheetah? Anyway, every day Belle would eat a tiny apple before going to dwell in the hidden areas of the abandoned lab. Is that pretty cool? Okay, so we're going to create our own, and how we're going to do that is there's this button called Remix. So Remix allows us to copy this story and all of its code, and we could then use it to create our own stories. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on the Remix button. If you guys at home want to do it as well, you can do so. What? Okay, so let's go. Remix. So I'm going to click on Remix. It's going to copy everything. And now I have my story here for me to work on. So we can go in and we can, change the background if we want to something else. Yeah, we can add new pages to the story. We can change the questions we ask. We can do a lot of things. I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the background. Let's try like, is there like a house or something? This looks pretty scary. This looks pretty scary, right? Okay, so for right now, let's just keep all of these questions the same. And I'm going to take you to the event graph side. So for those of you that joined us from last week, the event graph side is where we code our stories. So when I click on event graph, it flips the page over where we can code all of our interactions and animations and all the fancy stuff. So here I'm going to make it big. We have a lot of code on this page. I'm going to go through really quickly about each of these parts. So let's take a look at this one. On page start, lock navigation left and lock navigation previous page. This is basically saying when you enter this page, you can't swipe left and right. You can't navigate using the arrow keys. Can you think about why we want to do that? So when I preview, I'm in the read view. I want it so I can't navigate. I have to navigate using the button. So to do that, I lock the navigation. I lock it so you can't go to the next page or the previous page using the arrow keys or by swiping. The only way I can navigate to a different page is by clicking on the next button. So hold on one second. Okay. So notice I want you guys to take a look at this block right here, create text variable. Okay, so we're going to, there we go. So we have create text variable, and inside create text variable, I have created some variables. I have name, I have animal, and I have friend's name. Now remember, those are my 3 variables that I have created on this page. Variables are our containers. They hold a value. And let's just see how we can use that. So if I go to, for example, this page, notice I have name here. Do you see that? And what's strange about this? Do you see the curly brackets? It's inside these. Yeah, and my name is not name. My name is, it's going to be whatever I type in the box, right? That's what I want it to happen. Yeah, you can make up a name. So basically, take a look. We have these curly brackets, and these curly brackets are really important because they let us know where our variable is. So every time we want to use whatever they put in the name, we need to have the curly brackets and name. Okay? Yes. So if I preview this, it'll say, oh dear, and I have a blank, is such a nice name. Because right now I don't have anything as a value for the variable name. I would have to first, type stuff in here, like, I don't know, Fluffy. I go to page next, and it says, oh dear, Fluffy is such a nice name. Okay, so let me go back to this page, and we have to go back to the event graph because this is where we code. So right now, on page start, lock navigation, next page, lock navigation, previous page. This is saying we don't want to move anywhere on the page. We want to stay on this page until we click on a button. So we created some text variables and, When did I do this? I did this a long time ago. And basically when I hit the remix button, it copied the story and all of its code. So if I want to create a new text variable, I can click on plus here, but I can also just go to variables here and I can get my blocks from here. But because we're building off of a story, we're not doing it from scratch, we already have some stuff on this page. So I want to take a look at this. So on text input, so when you see what is your name, this is the text input. What is your name? When I finish typing in my text and press enter, then I want to set the variable equal to whatever is inside of the text box. In this case, I want to set it to the variable name. Okay, so we're not going to focus too much about the coding side. I want us to take a look at how we can continue our story, right? So right now we have a couple of variables. We have your name, so name, friend name, adjective 1, adjective 2, animal, adjective 3, and snack. Okay, so let's say I want to add a new page to this story. What should be something I write? What could be something I write on this page if I want to continue? So let's say something about his day. So we have right now, every day he eats a snack and then he goes to the lab. What happens to our character, our creepy character? Can we make it move? Yeah, we can make him move. So let's first write something down before we make him move. And do we want to use the same character, or we want to find something else? Let's see what we have for Halloween. Do we want to use any of these creepy things? You want the ghost? The skeleton head, the ghost. Where's the skeleton head? We have a skeleton head? Or we have the ghost? Which one? Okay, we have this one? You want this ghost? Okay. Yeah, so we'll put this ghost here, and we can add, I don't know, we'll add some. Yeah, it looks pretty cute. Could we add a pumpkin here? Because we can. Okay, so maybe we could have this as the friend of the character. Okay, so we have a ghost. What else do we want? We want a ghost and a skeleton head. This one. Okay. We can add a candy corn. Hold on 1 second. So who's the pet? This skeleton or the ghost? Which one? Okay. So the skeleton is like the ghost's friend then? Is that what it is? Okay, so I'm going to just copy and paste. So copy and paste. Okay, so I'm going to add a background. Let's add a background. Let's see. House. Okay. Okay, so we have, let's actually write a sentence with our friend, our skeleton friend. So, what do we say? So, we have to use friend name for the ghost, because that's the ghost's name right now, unless we change it. So, friend name. So this is the ghost's name. Okay, so we have the friend's name. Likes to do what? He likes to scare people and then make fun of them. Okay. Likes to... So likes to scare people and make fun of them. Okay, so likes to scare people and make fun of them. Is he scary though? He doesn't look very scary. If I had the skeleton face to the ghost like this, then he's scary like this. I don't think he's scary. I think he just looks weird. Okay. However, he wasn't very scary. So okay, so every time we have he, it needs to be friend name because we don't know if the name is a girl or a boy. So we have to use however friend name wasn't very scary. So friend name asked for help. Okay, so he's gonna ask our little skeleton head thing for help. Do we want the reader to be able to make the name for the skeleton head? Or we give him a name no matter what? I mean, we can make it so just like the ghosts, the reader can give the skeleton the name, the skeleton head a name, the skull. So do you want the reader to decide or do you want to decide? So we have in the chat, friend name likes to eat adjective 1 food. We already said that they like to eat adjective 1 food, adjective 3 food. So why is it weird? You don't know what the curly brackets mean? So the curly brackets are there to show to be a replacement. They're the variable. So remember when we did our story here, let me preview. So when I do, let's say Fluffy, my favorite animal is a cat. My best friend's name is, I don't know, Casper. Okay, so notice that I'm the one who's typing in Casper, right? I can decide Casper. And so when I go next, it'll say, oh dear, Fluffy is such a nice name. Because Fluffy is what I just typed in. Okay, so if I say adjective 1, so give me an adjective, I say funny, maybe like cute, and what else? Scary. So when I click on next, I'll have another choice. I can choose, let's choose candy this time. Okay, so you see now my story doesn't have the curly brackets anymore. The curly brackets got replaced. Do you see the curly brackets? They're not there anymore. That's what we typed in. We typed in scary and we chose the candy. Okay, so let's try again. So if I press preview, let's say instead, what's the name? Let's say Diego. What is your favorite animal? What panther? What's your best friend's name? Sam. Okay, describe. the pet. Happy, scary, and well, this will be a sad cookie, so that might be a little strange. Let's say spicy. Okay, spicy. Yeah. Oh, donut? Oh, sorry. I chose cookie. So notice that since I chose cookie, it got replaced to cookie. And since we put in spicy, spicy got replaced also. And since we put in panther, does it kind of make sense a little bit more what the curly brackets are for? They're like the container. It's not scary. It's not a scary story. So basically, what you're doing is you're creating a story where the reader can decide what the story is going to be like. You could just ignore that. Okay, so here, since I put friend name, this will be whatever the reader entered into yeah, so you see there's the curly brackets on the friend name. We can make it yellow so it's easier to see. And this is basically going to be the name of your ghost. So if this doesn't make sense, we can change it and we can make it make more sense, I guess. So instead of saying he pretended to be an adjective, some sort of animal, we can say something else. Do we want to do that? So you have to help me write the story then. What do I say then? So I can make the ghost darker. Maybe that would be a little bit scarier. Something like that. Okay. So, friend name was a scary or adjective sort of thing. Let's just change it. So instead of saying using the animal, we're going to get rid of the animal. Maybe we can use the animal later. Okay, so let's go back to this page. And so what happens? So he's asking for help. Okay, that's a good idea. Okay, so we can have a couple ways to ask for help. So friend name asked for help from his friend. Okay, so he asked for help, and then our skull is going to, you can hear better with headphones? That's great. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this page, and that means it's going to copy the page and all of its code. So I'm going to duplicate this page so that way we can put in our answer. So we had some ideas. You can try, what was it, screaming at the top of your lungs, right? So let's actually make this more like a like this. And let's add a speech bubble. Any other ideas on how to be scary? Scary? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we can add a background music to make it more scary. That's a good idea. So let me just share my computer sound so we can choose a sound together. That's not scary at all. Let's look for maybe something with... what does alien invasion sound like? Do you hear it? Okay, let's try another one. Where do you see that? What about this one? This sounds epic. No, that doesn't sound scary at all. Okay, what about horror? Oh. What about this one? Sound good? Let's add this one. Okay. Should we do this music on this page or at the very beginning of the story? Okay, so let's do it at the very beginning. I'm going to get rid of the sound here and go to the first page. So we don't want to put it at the beginning. Where do we want to put it then? Okay, so I'm going to add this. So who wants to help me code it so that it plays when the page starts? Someone want to help me? Okay, great. So help me code by connecting the blocks together. So on page start, what are we doing? Yep. And then we need to select the sound. No. You see there's on the green block, you have select a music. Select a, no, on the block on the page. Yes, this one, select a music. You wanna, yep, click, double click or click, I don't know how to click, yes. And select horror suspense. Perfect. Now preview, make sure it works. Okay, it seems to be playing. Great. No, we can exit so we can continue. And then I'm going to get my mouse back. Give me my mouse back. All right, great. So let's add our ghost on the first page also. And let's see if we can maybe animate him a bit. How does that sound? Make him a bit darker. Okay, so what do we do on this page? So what do we do on this page then? Do we want the ghost to just be moving across the page like this? Do we want him to bounce up and down? Do we want him to do nothing? Okay, so let's, on page start, let's have the ghost, do we want to bounce him or do we want to make him move? get bigger, get smaller. Okay, so let's make him move across the page. Oh, who wants to help me? Anybody want to help me code? Okay. Yes, Sai, can you help me code? I can't give you my remote, but if you... Let's see, can you annotate on this or no? Did I enable annotate? Okay, so connect the blocks together using the annotate if you can. Can you annotate? Oh, you can't annotate? Okay. Well, just talk to me and let me know how to connect the blocks together then. Okay? Uh-huh. Okay, so you connect the purple to the purple, and then what else? I don't hear you. I don't hear you at all, unfortunately. I don't know what happened. I don't see you muted, but I don't hear you. I see your mouth. He's frozen. Okay, well, we go white triangle to white triangle. And then let's move him a certain amount. So where move moves an object relative to itself. So it moves it. If we put 0, 0, he's not going to move. I'm going to preview. And he doesn't move. And that's normal. If we put 100, he moves 100 to the right. Okay? So 100 to the right, and let's make him flip and move again. So let's try to do that. So we did this last week where we did the exact same piece of code. And basically we want to move him, then we want to flip him so that he faces the other direction. And then we want to move him again to the left and then flip him. So in order to move to the left, what value do I put? It's not 100. 100 goes to the right. What value do I put to make him go to the left? So, yep. Yes, you need a negative. Great. So let's put negative 100. And let's go back. And let's preview our first page. So he only does it once, but we can make him loop forever. And then he'll just kind of dance. What do you think? Looks good? You're in the story? You're working on your own version of the story? You remix? So did you remix the story? Okay. Yeah, just put it in the chat. And so we have now our last page. So we say we try screaming at your lungs, at the top of your lungs. And let's add one more suggestion. So what else? What else can be scary? Any ideas? How can we make this ghost a bit more scary? stop being so sad looking. Sneak up behind people and say boo. What do you think? So we can make this bold. Make it, oh, that was not what I wanted. I wanted the color of it to be red. Okay, what do you think about this? Say boo, maybe with a different font. Okay, so the last thing I want to do is I want to then have another input field where then we can ask the reader if they have any ideas on how to make our ghost scary. Okay, so I'm going to add a question. Do you have any ideas on how to make first name scarier? Or no, it wasn't first name. It was, what was it? Friend name? Yeah, friend name. Write down your idea here. So, I'm going to go to the event graph, and do we remember what we needed to do all of this? So we need a variable. Yeah, we need a text variable. Great. So we're just going to call this variable like idea. Let's call it idea. And, oh, that's strange. So we have text variable. And then we need to grab our object, so our text field 0, which is our question, and we want an event. Events tell us when our code is going to run, so we need on text input. When we finish typing in the text box, we want to set the variable equal to the text box. So like so. Okay, and then we want to select the variable. So which variable do I put? I have a lot. I put friend name. No, so friend name is already taken. Otherwise, this is going to be a new one. So we created one. Oh, I don't know what happened to it. Disappeared somewhere. Idea. So it's going to actually be idea. But I don't know why it's resetting. Why are you resetting, my friend? There we go. So idea. Why is this strange? Hold on, let me refresh the page. I think something weird happened on this page. Let me refresh. Okay, so we're going to go to our last page here, and here we want to get our text variable idea. Ah, there we go. Idea is here. Okay, so we're going to call this a scary idea. And that way we can call it scary idea. So scary idea is going to be the name of whatever the reader's idea is. And then on the last page, we'll just copy, duplicate this page, and we'll say, so how do I get the ghost to say the idea? I need the curly bracket or the mustache. And then what do I put inside? What variable do I put inside? What do I put inside the curly brackets? Yep. So you want to put scary idea inside the curly brackets. So let's just test those 2 pages and see how it works. Scary underscore idea. And it has to match exactly. So if I preview this, then what idea should I say? I say, try, I don't know, jumping on people. Okay? I click next, and then notice here, I now have try jumping on people as my idea. You want to try that again? Give me another idea. Yep. Nobody has an idea? What? What other idea do we have? Nothing else? Try wearing a costume and sneaking up on people. And then here, they'll say, try wearing. Yeah, so you could say, try wearing a disguise. And then you could say, try wearing a disguise. See? So it fills in whatever you typed in this text box. Do the curly brackets make a little bit more sense now? Okay. So the last thing we'll do is we'll just make it a little bit prettier, and we'll have maybe a couple of animations, and then we'll publish it, and then we can play around with it. So let's have something like this with some white. I'm going to put this to the back and turn it black. And then I'm going to change the opacity so I can see behind it. So opacity basically makes it transparent or not transparent, like invisible or not invisible. Okay, so we have our idea here, and we used a couple of adjectives and we don't use them in our story. We can add them in if you want. From his ADJ3 friend. Something like that. And I'm going to just make it colorful so it's easier for you to see where the variables are. Or maybe we don't use ADJ2. We don't use ADJ2. We use 3. So see, we have ADJ1. Friend name would eat a ADJ snack. Do we want to change the animal question to a different question and then use that in the story? Or we want to use animal somewhere in the story? Do we want to change this question to something else? What's your favorite plant? How are we going to use the plant in the story then? The answer. Okay. So we can have, or we can have another name, and we can name our skeleton. Our skull, I mean, the skeleton head, skull. Do we want to give this guy a name? I don't know why it's always on lock. You have to unlock it sometimes. So do we... What? What do you mean, whose computer? Oh. So you can unlock it and lock it. Okay, so let me see. Let's actually, you're making your own story? That's great. So who's your, let's get a name. So how do we get a name? Another name. So we can name our skull something. Who's your favorite singer? Who's your favorite, or what is your pet's name? What is your favorite food? Okay, so we have to, you don't know that answer. So what is your favorite food? Okay, so I'm going to go into the back, and instead of calling it animal, I'm going to call it food. And here, so my variable is now called food. And we can say something like, I don't know. What do you want? I was just eating. And then what do I do for food? Okay. Okay, so it wasn't called favorite food. The variable was called food. It has to match exactly. And we need to put the 2 curly brackets at the end. Great. So remember, it needs to match exactly. So if you put food here, you have to make sure on the back side, or you declared the variable and you created the variable, it needs to say food also. Okay, so make sure it matches. And if it matches, then it's good. Okay, so I'm going to just make this a color to make it easier. How many pages? It's got 10 pages. So it's a lot of pages. All right, so let's get started. Let's try the story again and let's see what we did. Let's preview it. So we have scary music now. The music might be a little bit quiet. Okay? Okay, what name do we put? Type in the chat, what name do we put? Do we have a name? Fluffy? All right, food. Give me a food. Cake. Lettuce. All right, well, we'll stick with cake. What about your best friend's name? Mary? Oh dear, Fluffy is such a nice name. I recently got a new pet. What do you think? Give me some adjectives. Sad. Adorable. Anything else? Hungry. Hungry. That's a good adjective. I like this adjective. I'm usually hungry. Yeah, it's tough. Next. Okay, so a snack. Which one? You want to choose a donut? We didn't do a donut last time. One day there was a creature who lived in an abandoned lab. This creature was called Mary. That's right, just like your friend. Mary was a sad sort of thing. Every day, Mary would eat a hungry donut. What's a hungry What's a hungry donut? What's a hungry donut? I hope the donut doesn't eat me. That would be quite frightening. And then before going to dwell in the hidden areas of the abandoned lab, Mary likes to scare people and make fun of them. However, Mary wasn't very scary. So Mary asked for help from, well, I guess his adorable friend. That's not adorable. What do you want? I was just eating cake. What can I do to scare more people? How can a skull eat cake? Don't worry about those things, okay? It's a story. You can try screaming at the top of your lungs. Stop being so sad looking. Sneak up behind people and say boo. Do you have any ideas on how to make Mary scarier? Ah, that's a good idea. Try making poisonous pudding. I'm not sure if that's scary because I think you'll be dead by the time you realize how scary it is. Okay, try making your eyes all red. Try making your eyes all red. You guys gave me the answers. It wasn't my story, it was your story. So if it doesn't make sense. Okay, so let's add another page and let's finish it. So yeah, you can't see the ghost anymore. So let's add this. Thank you. Now I'm going to try all your ideas. Okay, so, and that's the end of this short story. So we talked a bit about variables today. If you are confused, that's fine because it is a confusing concept and it's something that, you know, middle school kids have trouble with. So even kids in like 8th grade sometimes have trouble with this idea of variables. But I hope that after this you have a little bit better understanding of what variables are, and then I'm just going to go ahead and publish this story. And I don't know, do we have anything else we want to do on this page or these pages? I guess we could put them all in the bathroom. Don't make them all in the bathroom. Let's see, if I put like dark, do I have anything else? Oh. I like this background. Okay, let's use this background instead. The honeymoon, which one? The bathroom looks weird. Okay, we'll do this one. I think that would be kind of scary to have a ghost in the bathroom. And then boo. Yeah, boo. That is very scary though. Okay, so we're done with this and I'm going to just go ahead and publish this. So what do we call this? Not so scary story. What do we call it? A short not scary story. That sometimes doesn't make sense. Hey, I wasn't the one who chose to put hungry, so if you get a hungry donut, that's just what happens. And there you go. Here's the story, and oh, I put it in the private. There you go. That's the story, and yes, because I messed up, so I put it in public.